Welcome, All Saints. As part of our Stewardship campaign, we are continuing our interview series. This time, we are very lucky to have Ann Douglas and Sue Puzo, two members of our mission committee. Jeff Altabef and Jim Relier will be asking the questions as your stewardship chairs. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Welcome.
We're very excited to have you here today.
You're very lucky.
We are very lucky. So the first question is, who's on the mission committee?
Right now, the mission committee is constituted of Sue Puzo, myself, Penny Cassar, and Drew Van Hengel. And we've just had two new members join us, Krista Lapenzina and Holly Aram.
Nice.
That was very exciting. The addition of our two members lowers the average age, which is a really good thing. But we welcome new members.
Certainly do.
If anybody's interested, just let us know.
Terrific.
That's great. What would you say is the goal of the committee, the overriding goal of the committee?
That's to demonstrate our love for our neighbors in the larger community outside our parish. That's our.
And do you break that into like segments of like what type of charities we support?
We've focused primarily on issues of poverty, which in today's world is food insecurity, housing insecurity, education. An educated mind is going to make for a better citizen, and ways that we can help our incarcerated brothers and sisters.
Terrific.
And how do you go about picking the specific charities you support?
We, at the beginning of our group, the foundation of it, which is about 15 years ago, I would say, in its present form, we on purpose chose international, regional, national or regional, and local groups to support. And that we've been able to maintain that.
And when you're choosing charities to support, you're focusing in, I guess, on those three segments and who makes a difference in those segments. Oh, terrific. How do you measure success for the committee and the charities we support?
Well, we have various ways. Sometimes we are able to bring a representative of a group in and to speak to that representative and find out where our money goes and what difference does it make. So if we give $5, then that person says, not enough. But if you give $1,000, then $1,000 will help one person, for example, coming out of an incarceration to obtain the what he needs to start a college program or another type of educational program. So then we aim for that $1,000 in our
Fundraising.
donation,
Right.
our donation to that group.
Right. And fortunately now, a lot of the institutions that we support have these promotional videos, and you can actually see the program money at work, which is so exciting.
That's awesome. And then, but when you look at the committee, we look at the charities, I guess we're looking deeper as to who they make a difference for, and the fact that they're actually making a lasting difference for people. Is there an example you want to talk about? Or can you talk about like how that we build relationships that way, or how we support charities that do that?
Well, at the international level, we very strongly support Episcopal Relief and Development, which is an international organization. They work with local Anglican churches across the world, actually, and also domestically. And they're the ones that do really good work in terms of disaster relief. And I believe they're amongst the highest ratio of administrative costs to actual effective programming.
Right.
So that's a benchmark that you want to be able to see that your money is actually making a difference.
Terrific.
In the way that you hope.
And I think just being part of Loaves and Fish over these years, the fact that we build relationships with charities over years, and then we can see the effect it has on individual people who continue to come back for the dinners when we were doing those, or I'm sure that on your Bedford Hills, you get the individual examples of people that have been helped
right? It's always heartening to open a letter and have somebody tell you, you know, your package arrived just at the right time, and you helped me out enormously. It's very rewarding.
That's great. Going forward, are there other areas you're looking to branch out into that you'd like to increase, you know, our service to?
Well, educational programs are always of interest for us, but they can be for children, for women, for incarcerated or transitional, and for men also, for different programs that they might be eligible for. And so we want to look at all the different parts of the population and hope that we have a program that supports each part.
And I know we do a lot of food insecurity with the pantries and also loaves and fish and such. And just describe to us, the people of All Saints, just a little bit of what that means perhaps in the life of a child. You know, the fact that we're able to help get them fed.
I think it's an enormous, this pandemic has revealed the depth of inequity. That here in Westchester, who would have imagined that access to food is just so difficult these days. So the food pantries are, I believe one statistic suggests that their requests have doubled. So that sort of says, well, maybe our assistance has to double, because clearly they're not able to keep up.
And we know that by some of the volunteers from church who help with the food pantry, and they've seen, they're the ones who count the number of people who come, and they see that the numbers have doubled.
And when you feed a child, you know, it helps them in school, it helps them, it's not just a momentary thing, but it's a thing that will pay dividends down the road, I guess,
It
right?
helps a parent have peace of mind also to be able to continue to work and know that their children are fed.
And if you look at the statistics around incarceration, I mean, many of the folks who end up in our prison system came from situations where there was food insecurity. So you could extrapolate from that, well, if we feed somebody, maybe we're gonna change their life and they're not gonna end up at the other end.
Oh, good.
Needing different help.
That's good. And if you had a message to relay to the congregation, and that includes both, you know, the people who've been here and the newcomers, in terms of participation, are there ways they can volunteer for some of these, for your programs, or what would be the best way for them to get involved?
Well, for those who'd like to be part of the planning of which organizations that we use money from the vestry, or from fundraising through the vestry, they're certainly welcome to come to our meetings. For individually funded programs like Christmas Angels, food pantry to a certain extent, but most of the food pantry we give a donation through the church, but also Loaves and Fish. These are organizations that take volunteers, and we provide volunteers, but those volunteers pay their own way, so to speak. So Christmas Angels is a program where we provide brand new clothing to an organization that has a special sale. Parents can come and buy the clothing at a very reduced price. We don't make the decisions anymore, they make the decisions. But this is something that we pay for out of our own pockets, that does not come out of the funding through the church or the vestry. Loaves and Fish is the same thing. If you'd like to volunteer, I know Loaves and Fish always likes to have new volunteers, because there's a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Preparing food and serving it to a population that really needs it and appreciates it.
Being part of a cooking team is fun.
Oh yes, there's a lot of sociability about
Right.
many of the activities.
A lot of teamwork.
Yeah, a lot
Right.
of teamwork.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to join the committee or has a charity in which they might want to support that we don't know about yet, they should come speak to you guys, Father Kevin,
All of the above.
Yes.
all of the above.
All of the above, and we'll be happy to entertain any new idea.
Absolutely.
Terrific.
That's great.
And then the last question, because this is part of, or I think the last question, this is part of our stewardship campaign. So I know from a budgeting point of view, the church wants to flow money into our mission and outreach, and that's really one of our main goals as a church. If we could raise more money as a church, if people would give a little more generously, what would that mean for your efforts?
Fun.
Well, we love it when we have
Yeah.
a larger amount of money to be able
Sure.
to divide up. Because we sit down at the end of the year and we decide how much of our funds, say we have $15,000, we look at our maybe 5 organizations and we decide which of them gets the, the larger and all the way down. But they all get something, but what will they get? So that's, we get to talk about what the organization does, how we feel about it, what relationships we've been able to develop or not, what we know about how much the money helps a particular individual or a particular organization. We talk about all of that and make these decisions, and then we stamp out those checks and send them on.
That must be a good day.
Very
Yes,
satisfying.
it is a good day.
It's good.
You have anything else, Jim?
No, I think it's great. I think, we're all sort of on board with this, and we really are anxious to see this continue to succeed, and now even greater, in a greater sense, because there's a whole new emphasis now at All Saints for outreach and for mission and those kinds of things. So that individual people joining the church will know that they can participate in these, and they can get the same sort of rewarding experience that you've gotten and that we all should get. So it's great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. You guys are terrific, and thanks for all the good work. And
It's a pleasure.